let's get into the Cinderella of this weekend, man. That was the divisional round of the NFL
Oh yeah, man,
playoffs,
it's
and
some
boy,
good
did we have
games.
some good ass games.
Some good games,
Some good
man.
ass games. Where you want to start, man? Who do you want to talk about first? This is one where we got to open up, man. We got to go everywhere, man. This is all we got left.
Man,
We went down to the final hours here.
I was hoping that a certain team lost just so I can get out of my contractually obligated bet that I made and continue to back them. So let's start there. Hey man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they look pretty good. Tom Brady still doing his thing, man. They lost twice to the Saints, and I never lost faith. I thought they were going to come back and win, and sure enough, that's what they did. He got weapons out there. He got a ton of weapons. The defense, man, they picking up right where they need to. They ain't doing a lot, but they doing enough. You know what I mean? And as long as they doing enough, and that offensive line, man, they looked like they was playing dirty yesterday in that game against the Saints, man. They was throwing people on the ground. You had a lot of people in their faces and everything, but they was keeping Tom Brady, upright, man, most of the game. So, and he was able to just carve him away with all those weapons that he got. Man, do they have some weapons too, man. It's just
Or turnovers, all by the defense. So that was a defensive game, man. I know they've been kind of off and on as the whole team has been this whole year. I think when you put together these quote unquote super teams, you run into this. The same thing with basketball. Like, this doesn't always work out, but the fact that they're figuring it out and winning at the same time, you got to give kudos to Bruce Arians and the Tampa Bay Bucks, man. Like, they're doing exactly what they need to do, survive and advance. Now, Tom Brady didn't play the prettiest of games by no stretch of the imagination. I think him and Drew Brees had about 100 yards apiece going into the third quarter, so they wasn't lighting
that
it up.
pass by Jameis Winston, man. Let's not. If you're gonna talk about let's talk about all the quarterbacks. Jameis came out there and threw like that little trick play they did, and him just throwing it was about 50 something yards, bro. Just lighting it up, man. Jameis, man, that was nice.
In my opinion, there won't even be a quarterback competition next year. I don't care what they say about how Jameis was before he got there. A year to sit down, watch the game, study film. As good as that guy was, I just think he's too much of a talent to not start over Taysom Hill next year.
And you mentioned, like, before we was talking about Jameis, you was mentioning the difficulties that the quarterbacks have. Both of them are older quarterbacks. Do you think either one of them, like, no matter how it is, like, they just done? I'm pretty sure. I think the Saints.
Yeah,
Drew Brees. I think that was
everything that you saw after the game. Him and Tom Brady on the field at the end. The tearful walk off. How he looked at it, you just knew that this was it, man. Cracked ribs. He's 42, 43.
Yeah.
I
think he's 1 year younger than Brady. So
yeah, it's just might be time, man. He's not getting any younger. He has a bright future ahead of him in the broadcast booth or on anyone's panel that will have him. So I think he'll be able to talk circles around us and give us a great insight to the game. Unfortunately, I have it written down here, man. I just want to make sure I say this, man. As you and I come to retirement, sometimes it's not always how you vision it happening. It's not always how you vision it going out, and that's all I can replay in my mind. I'm sorry, I liken some of these things to real life and things that I'm going through and how I would see it. Now, even though this isn't how he wanted to go out, that man gave that city of New Orleans some of the best years of their lives, going back to Katrina, and when all they had was just, football was coming back. You know what I mean? And the push that they made to get football back in New Orleans, and then ultimately winning the Super Bowl for New Orleans, in which they hadn't won in years. I mean, I still remember the paper bags over your heads. Y'all not too far removed from that. So, if anything, and especially the Saints fans that was shitting on Breeze and stuff like that, yeah, man, you take your chance with Breeze, man. You take your chance with him. The same way with Tom Brady. Ain't too many other guys that I wouldn't want in my foxhole as my quarterback if it came down to that fourth quarter and the game's relatively close. Those are two guys I still want, even in their 40s. Even in their 40s. So hats off to Drew, man. Excellent career. I love watching them play, man. It just, but I think it's over for him.
Yeah, and like you saying, man, like now you got me thinking just like real life, man. Just like going through this COVID thing, man. I would have never envisioned this, and like I ain't got to spend a lot of time with my guys in this last year, handing off the way I want to hand off the things to it, build them up, like constantly like mentor and work with them. I done lost all that for the past year, and it just goes to show you, just like on in the NFL, even when Brett Favre retired and stuff like this, how he started hopping around from team to team. He wasn't quite ready to let it go, but he had to let it go, and like the bounty gate and all that. When he was started getting the hits and laid out and stuff like that, that kind of took effect to him. It's funny we talking about the same team, the Saints, that actually did it, just laying them out. But when you hope that the best work that you did is already out there, and people are gonna still remember you and care for the love that
Body
and
of
the
work.
effort
Yep.
that you put into. And that's what people's talking about. I mean, ain't necessarily got to be in the game, but we talking about in the NFL right now. But in your day to day, man, like you never know how it's gonna end, what can come up there and change. You want to give your best and all in with everything that you're doing every single day, because like, hey, hell, you can be fired next week, but do you have those people on your side that's gonna stand up for you and vouch for you to get the next job, if that's what you're doing, hopping job to job on those things? Like, that comes off that strength of doing the best that you can do every single day. You can't worry about it like, oh, I got this plan for next month or whatever. You may not be there when you don't control your own destiny. And if you're going on for your business, like you still got somebody else that you're working for. You're working for the customers. You got to have your ear to the streets and always listen and putting out the best product or best restaurant, whatever you're doing, every single day. You got to have that mentality. So just keep that going. And then whenever it's time or whatever, like, you still feel like, hey, I can walk away from this because I done gave them all this, and somebody somewhere they're gonna remember what I did or what I put out there for this, or my name is still etched in stone somewhere in somebody's mind, and they're gonna keep moving on and living through it. It's some kid out there right now that grew up off Drew Brees that's gonna come up here 10 years down the road and say, oh, I copied his style completely. And that's how I added something new to it, and that's what I bring to the game and improving it. But it's always going to be in memory of, or
Short quarterbacks.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, he definitely defied the odds in terms of what a prototypical quarterback was. And, you can go on and talk about whether he's in the same discussions as the greats in terms of
oh yeah.
the John Elways, the Peyton Mannings, and just guys that played the same time frame that he played,
So
Tom Brady's. And of course, he may not be right there, but he may be that tier right below. And I don't know what number tier or what letter tier to give it, but I'm just saying he's going to be mentioned as one of the greats, man, hands down.
man, I love Dan Marino. I love like all the old schools, the Troy Aikmans and all this little stuff. And as they came up fighting the Joe Montanas, the Steve Youngs, and that we want to classify and put into these levels and everything, man. But the NFL today is different. And for him to go as long as he could now, and the way it's just a passing league, the way he done just had to toss that ball a lot longer. And like, what, he 42 years old, man. Like, he's been out there. There's no way you can deny and cut these guys down. I mean, Peyton is one that I think is just the top tier, where even though he ain't have all the rings, I'm sorry, Brady, whatever, like, people gonna say that, but I still say Peyton was the top. The way he directed that offense and everything got there on his own. As you seeing, Tom had time to buy into these systems, but when 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 uh when Manning was out there, man, it was just all him. You seen them changing up the play. You seen the way he read all these things. So he ain't have as many rings as he got, but that's still like the top of the. That's top to me. And then like the other ones, they fall where they fall when you coming up there. But they're gonna get passed up. Just like everybody thought Dan Marino back in the day, all those accolades, he ain't had no championships, but he's had all those passing records. It get passed up. The game changed. It gets faster. The players improve. It's just what it is, man. So just he left his mark on the game. I think he's definitely etched in my name, etched in my mind. Where 20 years down the road, I'm be arguing with my grandson, and I'm be like, nah, you don't know about
that Drew Brees. For sure, man. So shout out to Drew Brees, hell of a career, man. Can't wait to see what he does next. But let's double back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I guess we're gonna get back to them once we get to Green Bay and discuss Green Bay's game and see
Yeah.
what we're gonna have happen there. All right, man. Let's move on. Bills Mafia. Bills
Man.
Mafia. Hey, they found another way to get it done.
Man, these guys, man. Well, I told you, like, I kind of figured that was going up in there. Like, Baltimore, they deal with cold, but they don't deal with cold the same way. And it was the wind that was the big factor.
Yeah, Tucker was definitely. And speaking of Tucker, man, like I was watching it on social media and everything, people turning on him, even some Ravens fans, and I'm like, as many games as this dude done saved y'all from with his boot, y'all over here want him to get it right with them winds just swirling at them speeds. Like, come on, man. Like you've never fucking kicked the ball in your life, and you just thinking that it's easy to angle that shit with that wind. Impossible. He's a dead eye kicker.
He'd have made it look easy for too long. Like we just expected. And it's just like, nah, that's work. It's just like what was the Alabama guy, like Najee Harris, like when they called him in the interview, just like, hey, yeah, you was doing it so effortlessly. Huh? I put in work.
Shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
Shit is not easy, man. So, kind of with that said, man, I'll kind of go to the Ravens, man. Walk them out of here really quick. You know what I'm saying? So welcome to the couch.
Welcome to the couch.
Virtual right here. You know what I mean? Have a seat here, Lamar. I want to talk to you.
Go ahead.
Listen, man. You've improved every year you've been in the league. Do not let the naysayers continue to tell you that you can't do this, you can't do that. Baltimore Ravens organization. You have a stud. Stick with him. Sometimes you may not win it till the 7th season, 8th season. But as long as he gets you there and you in the hunt, he continues to improve, you have to assess it that way. Everybody, like we live in a damn microwave society where we want guys not to go through any struggle to ultimately get to where they need to get to. Look how long Peyton Manning, you just bought him up. Look how long the Colts stuck with Peyton Manning until he finally got him that elusive ring. And was that boy good?
Yeah,
he damn sure was good. Did he throw a whole hell of a heap of interceptions the first 2-3 years? Absolutely. But they stuck with him because they knew what he can do. Baltimore, I'm imploring you, stick with this young man. He's going to get it done. I trust and believe he's going to get better. He's gotten better at passing the ball. He just has to get a little bit better and continue to provide the weapons. He's just too good of a talent. Eventually, he's going to have to pull back. You're going to have to pull back from that running. You know what I mean? Because I see it happening. But right now, he's just too goddamn dynamic on that side of the ball to take that away from him. They were in the red zone, about 5 times?
Yeah.
Inside of the 30, or not the red zone, but inside of the 30 about 5 times, scored 3 points. That's unacceptable. You have to accept that, and you have to learn how to throw better, Lamar. I mean, I've never been a quarterback. I played tackle football probably about 2 years out of my whole damn life. Got hit a few times. I was like, this ain't for me. Went back to hooping. But I do love the game.
Light frame dude.
Hey man, you gotta cut your losses, man. You gotta know what you're not good at and what you're good at.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, man, look, don't give up. Don't give up on this guy. I've watched him get better over the course of the last few years, and I think that he just needs a little bit more help, wide receiver wise, and just reading these plays. So
I tell you what that bothers me about Lamar, and it's what the other quarterbacks I see have. They have that killer instinct. They wear it on their sleeve constantly. I don't know if Lamar has that. Like you just seen Russell over there getting upset. Then he goes in his offseason, and you see his offseason workouts. He just giving his all. He's saying he's gonna come back. You done seen Pat Mahomes, when he get frustrated. Hell, I think he was trying to come back in the game yesterday, but we'll get to that. But same with Brady, Breeze, whatever. But like Lamar, like it seems like he gets pissed off, but he's not pissed off with that, hey, I'm going to drive this back to win mentality. And that's fine. That may be your personality. But you need to find something. You got to show these people you are the leader of the team as the quarterback. So, and then the way the fans and everybody else look at it is just the expression and stuff on your face. And it don't seem like you got that killer mentality right now. And that's why anybody will be backing away right now saying like, yeah, he getting us to the playoff, but does they have that doubt? Does he have what it takes to get us a little bit further? And I think that's all that's missing, man. So if you are that way already and already going that, but you got to show a little bit more, man. So I don't know if you need to open up, have somebody follow you around, show them your workouts, how you getting that grind constantly. I mean, like it took Cam Newton way too long to start showing that. And that's what got everybody else back on the side. Cam working. You know what I mean? That's what everybody was saying. And he was hyping himself up. You got to sell yourself a little bit too. If you want everybody to buy into you. If not, if it don't bother you and you just gonna keep working and the media, you find a way, go ahead. But if you want them to back you up and all this stuff, that's where I see that he gotta like open up and change a little bit because, like I said, Russell Wilson, Pat Mahomes, all these other great quarterbacks, you see it when they pissed off and you see it when they having fun in the game. Like who was Aaron Rodgers. When he's smiling, like when he sees something like, oh yeah, I'm about to burn y'all.
Yeah. Hey, but with that said, that was a nice little speech that you had for him. But Lamar Jackson and Baltimore Ravens fans, sit y'all ass on this couch.
Hey, it's your boy, Mr. Prez with Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. If you've been tuning into us for a while or it's your first time, as you know, we always ask for you to support us, and there's different ways for you to support us. It can be as simple as hitting the like button, but we also have a Patreon. So you're asking, like, what is Patreon? Patreon is where members like Corey, the foundation, sends us some money so we can help support and cover our revolving costs or improve our equipment for the podcast. You can sign up at www.patreon.com. We have 3 different tiers for you to support us on. So we have a $3, $5, and $10 tier. At the $3 tier, you get your monthly shout out. At the $5 tier, you get your monthly shout out plus a bonus episode. And then plus everything else that you get, you still get your shout out in with that. And at the $10 tier is where we're going to have we also throw in a monthly Zoom meeting that we host. And it's on every third Saturday where we meet up with all those Patreons and discuss efforts going forward and let you give some feedback and where you can feel part of the podcast even more too. Give us some segment or some things that you would like to see us research. So thank you again for all the different ways that you can, that you do support. And with that said, let's get back to the pod.
Bills Mafia. I feel like I got to do something like this. I don't know. I love my man Benny, but that Bills Mafia song is trash. I hate it. But hey man,
they got their hype song.
They got their hype song. They deserve a hype song. They got one of the best rap teams out here, and Griselda and all the things.
Speaking of
Bills
rap
is doing
song,
great.
Speaking of rap hype song, somebody else said they about to release another hype song for the Green and Yellow, where he just copied last time. Are you excited about this? The Lil Wayne hype song that he's supposed to drop for Green Bay?
It's already come out. It came out.
Oh man,
it came out. Ask me if I listened to it. Just ask me, please. Hell no. Hell no. Come on, man. Damn cheesehead fan, and you're from Louisiana. Come on, man. I'm just playing. You can be a fan of whoever.
You can be a fan.
Whatever. I'm joking.
I mean, there's rules to this. As long as you stay with them the whole time and I understand what he said.
Yeah, Wayne's been improving.
Yeah. But was the song any good?
I didn't listen to it. I'm dead ass serious.
I didn't listen to it.
I saw
nobody's told me about it. So they told me about the Benny, and you said that was like, okay. So I guess it got to be worse than the Benny.
I saw it. There was another song on top of it that I wanted to listen to. I pressed that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, so Bills Mafia, man, Josh Allen, Diggs, that defense, they found another way to win. It wasn't pretty. The win crazy. So even the quarterbacks was off. But, Josh didn't look his best, but they still put up 24 and they move on to the AFC Championship. Prez, with Mahomes, get knocked out of this game, bruh, these guys are clicking on all cylinders. And if it's just a cold game up in Kansas City and whatever the case may be, I'm right now with how this Bills team is playing, I may give them the edge if Patty is a little shaky-bakey, man. Because remember, before he got knocked out with that concussion, he was hobbling across that field. Like, people keep talking about, is he coming back from the concussion? No, what you need to worry about is that damn pinky toe. All right? What happened to his pinky toe? That's what y'all need to be worrying about. And the Chiefs defense, surprisingly, and we'll get to them, they stepped it up.
Man,
they stepped it up. They were susceptible to the run. And
did you see Tyreek Hill after Pat Mahomes went out and they was trying to get the ball other places? and the way he acted up, pushing the coaches like, nah, y'all gonna give me the ball. It's other people on that team that want to fight and win, and
they stepped up big.
One leader
Him
goes
and
down,
Kelsey stepped up big. The two other biggest stars on that offense showed and proved. You know what I mean? So that was bigger than a step up, man.
So that tells me, along with Andy Reid's like his miracle mind that he got, like coming up with these plays and still finding ways to get it to these people.
Still got love for Coach Reid.
You should. He kept y'all in the NFC Championship. But yeah, man, like I think it's gonna come down to coaching, and then when it comes to the Bills, I think it's just gonna be the inexperience of being here. I mean, man, they riding hot, they partying right now. Where I think Kansas City is watching tape.
And I feel like, they can't have the happy to be here approach. You definitely cannot, because when you're playing a champion that was so close on the verge of losing that game, because Cleveland had all the momentum in that game. Shout out to them. Again, another thing that kind of happened. Like, you had Mahomes go out, but you also had Myles Garrett. He wasn't playing the latter part of that game. So it was a lot of little things in there. You mean Landry could only do so much. The run game didn't really get going till the second half. And shout out to the Chiefs defense for playing well. But, I just don't know if the Bills are going to be able to win, even though they're looking better. Right now, as of right now, they look the part. But if Mahomes is 90, 85%, and all he got to do is just go back there and pick apart that defense, I have no doubt that he'll be able to pull it off, man.
That's half a Billy right there, bro.
Half a Billy.
Half a Billy. Like, man, follow the money. They're gonna make sure he get up in that. And then, like, he definitely still had that fight, man. I'm like, that happened to me, and I know I got half a Billy coming. Sit down here.
Here's the thing: they can keep up in a shootout. The Bills, they can keep up in an ugly game. However, do you want it, man? Like, they can give it to you, and they have, in my opinion, a better defense.
I got a question for you. Do you give Baker Mayfield respect now?
I give him respect, but it's probably at the midway mark. Reason being is he had a chance to go win that game.
Yep, and that's what killed it for me. That's what I'm gonna linger on. It was just like, that team is still Chubb and Kareem Hunt, because the fight they had up in there, and like when they was chugging for those last couple yards to keep getting those,
they were dragging defenders with them.
Yeah, they was all about it. Where, I mean,
and I know we all over the place. But we excited here, man.
Yeah. But Baker just didn't do it to me. Do it for me, and it was. But Josh Allen, I know we're gonna jump around now. That's another newcomer to the game, into it, and like he's carrying his team into it. He was a little bit more focused. I had to rank him right now, I would put him as the next coming up quarterback over Baker Mayfield. I still just think Baker Mayfield's average. I still think if they had a chance to upgrade and replace him, I think that would elevate that team.
But
a lot more. I don't have faith in Baker.
I think this run though bought him some more time. It bought him at least a year or two of them to still look at it, because you think if they come back next year and they're still they're double digit wins, because you got to think Pittsburgh is going to go down. Cincinnati is still going to be Cincinnati, because their quarterback isn't going to be fully healthy till probably about late November, early December, if he even comes back.
Burrow's already practicing, bro.
Oh, really?
The dude's a beast.
Oh, shit.
He on another level. He's hungry. He want it.
Okay.
Burrow's already back in the facility.
Okay, and they're going to have, and they got a pretty high draft pick too, and shit, they already had some promising young receivers. You know what they're going after, that O-line on the receiving game. But anyway, I digress. I think Baker and that team as currently constructed has a chance to do the same thing next year. It's just the difference between him and you made with Josh Allen is the leap. Josh Allen made a gigantic leap in terms of what he can do from last year, and Baker Mayfield's was just, one or two steps. It wasn't enough to wow you, but it definitely wasn't enough to lose his job.
No.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, and the only reason he didn't catapult his name to what he's getting in endorsements and all the notoriety and all of the fanfare from media pundits is when you had two chances to get it done and to tie that game up or take the lead or get 2 points, you didn't do it. You didn't employ the coach. Like, if the coaching staff believed in him, that 2-point conversion, and when they should have went for it, they would have put the ball in his hands if he's another quarterback, right? And speaking of another quarterback, let's move on to the other game because Bills did what they did, and we're gonna talk more about them in the next. I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns real quick.
I thought that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay, we go. All right. I was making sure we leaving the Bills thing if you're listening and not tracking since we've been all over the place. Yo, I hate that out of bounds call, bro, because it came back to haunt them. Like, that. Do you feel like that's something that needs to be addressed, or you don't really care about
Hell yeah, you know how many Derek Carter lost on that?
I didn't even think about that.
I get tired of that damn call, man. Hell yeah, change that.
Yeah, I think it's antiquated as hell.
Yeah.
Like you did nothing as the defense to get that turnover. If anything, it should just be a penalty. Like that's like one of the biggest penalties in the game. Like,
and you just lose the ball. You done lost the ball. It goes to the other team.
I can't make sense of it, man. But lo and behold, man, in playoff games, it'd be stuff that's that minuscule that'll get you either a win or a loss. And ultimately, you know, they didn't have enough to do it in the end. I don't know if Odell Beckham is coming back, but they weren't playing so well with him. So I don't know if another year in the system together is going to help them with Landry. But it looks like people are saying Baker looked better with just having one target to focus on. But you know, I'd rather have all my weapons than to not have all the weapons and figure it out.
I think Odell just move on. I get what you're saying. That, yeah, if I'm them, I would want him back. But as for Odell's sake, man, it's time. Like it didn't work out like you wanted to work out. They seem to be doing better without you. It's like that Jeremy Shockey, the deal. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was part of the Giants and everything, but like when he went down into the Saints is what he really like champions and stuff like this. So I think that's what it is. Just move on, Odell. If it's allowed, is he still on a contract or whatever?
Yeah, he is. So they'd have to trade him. Yeah,
try the Bears or something, man.
Yeah, somebody, man. But who else we got up next, man?
We didn't talk about the Green Bay game, but we can talk about that real quick. It was real one-sided.
Yeah, real.
The Rams need some offensive help. Golf, man, like sometimes he look good, but most of the time he don't. And when you're going against these elite quarterbacks, you're not that. I think they need something else. I mean, it was
and the coach
was definitely Todd Gurley that carried them on that last run that they had. And that was run game, and they gave Goff that money, and I don't think he's it. He's good enough to constantly get y'all in the playoffs, but I don't think he's gonna get y'all back to the
coach already came out and said he's the guy heading into next year. So, you know, I think much like the Philadelphia Eagles, you paid this young quarterback all that money. You're gonna say, okay, 2020, that was a wash. As far as you had a bad year, let's work with you this next year because we gave you this money, but you F up again. We're gonna figure out a way to eat this contract. is gonna be what it is. You know what I mean? I think if these guys, him and Wentz, because you know they were in the same draft. Yeah, I think that they're under the same microscope.
Yeah, they both
up,
trash.
They mess up. Yeah, they mess up again. They're gone, man. But let's move on to the championship round.
Okay, who you got?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Then we give the people. Let's build them up.
Okay.
Then give it to them. Let's keep them listening.
So let's start with the NFC because Green Bay versus Tampa Bay. The Bays.
Man.
Both the Bays. One's coming from the sun. One's coming from the one is living in the snow. And that's where they got to go travel to.
Yeah. So that game, you know, I haven't even checked the forecast or what it's going to be.
It's going to be cold.
But I know Lambeau Field it's one of those places you don't want to play in January, and it's for a reason, man. So Aaron Rodgers is making the game look so effortless. Devontae Adams was talking his shit to Rams. He said, "Hey, come here, follow me across the field. Follow me across the field. I'm the best man doing this," and he proved it, man. He proved it. He made every damn cornerback this year look like they were pure trash, and those guys, it doesn't matter. Like that's his one guy. Then the other guys make timely catches in terms of Aaron Rodgers' other
Scanling,
their
tight end.
They're tight end. They get timely runs when they need to get it because the holes are right there the entire time. So I think this offense is clicking on all cylinders. And again, their defense isn't nothing to really rave about, but they're middle of the pack. You see what I did there? The middle. Anyway, my podcasting skills are just getting great. But on the flip side, I look at it like that. It's just so easy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, like they're up and down all year. Like they can get blown out. They can blow you out. They have blown out the Packers, but I think that was an anomaly. Just how the Saints blew their asses out prior to this. So their defense has been up and down. However, I really feel like that Tom Brady is going to be the reason why they lose this game. And the reason being is they have not put together a whole game in terms of where you said, "Ooh, this offense is buzzing for the entire game," and the defense is susceptible to, if they get down, then it's a wrap. Yeah. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to get out there and pick those guys apart, because as good as they are flying around that football, I just don't think they have one cornerback whatsoever that can remotely hang with Devontae Adams. And then if they try to double him, you're playing a quarterback that is going to pick you apart. So somebody unnamed right now is going to have the game of their lifetime, because if you are successful, which I don't think you are, because that coaching staff is just too brilliant at moving him around. So that's really why you can't double him. So with that said, man, I'm going to have to pick in this. I don't even think we've had a Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers game that I could remember that was really worth talking about.
If this one is going to be it, I think this is the one that does it, and it's going to be the one that's going to be talked about. Can Aaron Rodgers retire Tom Brady? Everybody's been trying to do it all year. Can the Pack retire Brady? We're gonna see it here.
I'm gonna go with the Pack. I'll let you give your take on what you think.
So as I've unfortunately had to start watching these Bucks and actually like seeing how they come, I really thought New Orleans was gonna still come out of that, but as history would tell you, like winning that third game against them in the playoffs, it don't never go well for any team. It's just like, so they took a couple of losses, but they didn't improve. And where on the other side of that team, you think you're like, oh, we know them, we got them, because you let down a little bit. But going up into these Packers, man, I just, it's that Lambeau Field, it's that magic up there in that stadium, the cold. Aaron Rodgers upset that he wasn't where he needed to be last year. All that going into it, the way they disrespecting him and got that other quarterback behind him. He got a lot more to fight for. He want his name etched in that stone as one of the greats too. And to be the great, you got to be the great. And I think that's what he's gonna.
You hear what Prez is saying, Carson Wentz, if you're watching. They go ahead and draft somebody else. You ball out. Sit his ass back on that couch. Sit his ass back on that couch. But continue on.
Yeah. So, and like you said, if they manage to stop Devontae, that ain't the person that they should be worried about. It's not isolating that one weapon. It's isolating that quarterback. And lo and behold, like we ain't even seen that other quarterback they done drafted and worked with all this year. So he could come out there and pull a Henny on them. Like if they do manage to stop Rodgers, like that'll sure enough be some if that's how he end up losing it. But I think the main person they got to worry about is Rodgers, man. It's not Devontae. Yeah. He can come out there and just light it up on you, man. He got those other receivers, and he has that drive, that leadership that will push, and he will get in the face of those guys and like, no, you're gonna go out there and you better run this route, you better run this.
Both great quarterbacks. You never feel like you out of a game whatsoever, and I don't think Tom Brady's gonna put his team in a position to lose this game. So unless the defense is gonna be the main thing, I think the Green Bay defense will be sturdy. They will do what they need to do because of the arm strength. Also, Antonio Brown, I don't know if you noticed, he was injured in this game. Yeah. Now, he finished it out, but he didn't have like a great game numbers-wise. But that's just another guy that went down. But they got weapons on top of weapons on top of weapons.
They got Godwin, they got Mike Evans.
Right.
I think Suh's gonna do something dirty in this game.
Like, what
I could just picture Suh just like doing something. He gonna try to.
I've been waiting for Mike Evans. That's one guy that I've been looking at. Like,
They
Mike
kinda
Evans
held
has
him.
suffered the most this season playing with Tom Brady because Tom Brady has always given the ball out to whoever is open. He doesn't play favorites, and that's Tom Brady. What you gonna go say to Tom Brady? Give me the goddamn ball. Yeah, once you earn his respect. But here's the thing, man. I've been waiting on him to have a big game. Brother, it's on you. It's on you to get open and to rival Devontae because that boy feeling like he can't be stopped. You have to do the same. He has to do the same to keep them within striking distance. All you need to do if you're Tampa Bay is to be within one score going into the fourth quarter. That's why you have Tom Brady. And I think Tom Brady, given the circumstances, however it go, he'll at least give you a shot. I'm still picking the Packers, though.
I'm still picking the Packers. If they're down by one score, I still say the Packers come out and do it. So next game we got Kansas City versus the Bills, and they got to come to Kansas City, correct?
Yeah. This is where
I don't have to wait for the on this one, man. I would have said Kansas City all day, but I'm gonna have to wait and see what's gonna happen with Mahomes. What the tape is gonna tell on Mahomes? Like, is he gonna be ready? Is he gonna clear protocols? All this stuff, like, because sometimes those concussions can go into like 2 weeks, but they're not gonna let it go for 2 weeks. He definitely gonna get cleared from that. But how's that injury that you're talking about that he's suffering
on the toe
and everything?
Yeah, on the toe.
How's that gonna do?
Yeah,
and would that limit him and put him in the box? And like now he's not as deadly. I mean, he's still deadly. Dude can still throw the ball, but I mean, in
the game they were still running them, and I think they'll kind of take some caution to do that, and then it'll be on what's Belair? I can't say it. Hilaire.
I thought
Edwards.
he injured.
No, wasn't he playing?
I thought
game?
Bell and
Williams. Williams and Bell are gonna have to like actually run the ball because if you notice throughout the last couple weeks, like they really get too much work this season. Like Bell touched the ball like 10 times last game. You know what I mean? The last game that they played. So what I'm saying is like you're gonna have to trust those guys to be the bell cows. And if he does come back to play, because you can't chance getting him injured, man. And obviously, you know, he got injured on like a fluke play too. Like it wasn't
he didn't
even
really get no. It
wasn't even no contact.
He got him and like drug him down. It was like it wasn't a typical play that you can see where it's like, oh, he went helmet to helmet or elbow hit the helmet and just like laid him out. It was like he wrapped him up, but he grabbed his neck and like that kind of. It was a weird one, and then I was wobbling. He definitely
that was scary. But I was talking about the toe injury. The toe injury was like not too much contact either, so it's kind of one of them weird days. You know what I mean? But if he's there and he's healthy enough to play, I got the Chiefs on back to the Super Bowl. So I got the Packers and the Chiefs, man. Packers and Chiefs. That's the only way. If Mahomes don't play. Then
then I got
Bills Mafia, you are going back to your first Super Bowl since the Jim Kelly era, and hats off to y'all because I think it'll be a runaway game. Ain't no way anything is possible to come back and have any type of success against that Bills defense.
Not that Bills defense.
Not being a 13-year journeyman and not playing since 08 or whatever it
was. The Browns, yes. The Bills,
nah. But yeah, man. So that's our NFL takes. Let us know if you agree with them. Like and subscribe and all that other, YouTube things that we got to say. If you're watching us in YouTube land, if you're watching this if you're listening on audio, give us some stars or go rate us, go leave a comment. That'll drive us up the ratings a lot more. I know you want us to be a lot higher than wherever we're at.
Show some love. Some love.
Put us on the top 10 charts. You know what I mean?
All right. So let's get into this music.